Hey guys, what's up? I'm Rachel and welcome back to Auxhart Gardening. There was no tour last week. You didn't miss it. I was actually out of town, which is something that I, for obvious reasons, would not announce ahead of time. However, I am back and I haven't seen the garden in over a week. So we're going to go through it together and talk about what I see. So at first glance, it looks kind of empty, especially on camera, but everything that was alive when I left seems to be alive still. One of the biggest changes is, of course, in the seedlings. These grow pretty fast, and they've had this cover on them while I've been gone. And everything looks great. Everything looks healthy. It'll still be like 2 or 3 more weeks until I can consider transplanting these out because they're all so tiny. But I can start thinking about thinning these out. I overplanted because I'd had trouble with germination, and it seems that I have not had that problem at all. One of our garden visitors is back. My black cats are not going to be in this video because they are with my parents while I was gone. So down this first row, right underneath my trellis, is the garlic. Everything looks great about it. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a baby 5th leaf coming in right there. So that's all looking great. Since I've been gone, I have not done the mulching of the pathways yet, but that is going to happen very soon. And then if we look over here, similar to the garlic, right down the middle of this side is onions. And some of them I planted from starts, so they're still kind of tiny like this one. And then this really large one is an onion that sprouted in my pantry, and I just stuck it in the ground. And so a lot of these bigger ones that you'll see, that is what those are from. And you can see that what happened is the onions split, just like any other bulb splits. And I'm gonna get, like, it looks like 4 different onions all growing close together here. Now, how practical that's gonna be for usage, we'll just have to see when I decide to pull them. I am out in a t-shirt today, which tells you that it is pretty warm outside. So it is getting to be about time to start a lot of the spring seeds that I would start in the ground. And if you want to know more about like exactly what all of those are, I do have a video where I talk about planting my garden, and I show you exactly where everything's gonna go, and I talk about all the different varieties. So I'll link those up here and down here. So you can go watch them, but basically I am going to be putting in some peas on this trellis and also on this trellis, but you'll notice in between all the weeds, I do have garlic here and also here on the outside of the trellis. So peas are going to get planted on the inside of the trellis and then trained up. Over in this area, I can't remember if I decided I was going to plant carrots here or not. I might do carrots along in here actually, but carrots are going to happen. Turnips are going to happen at some point. Radishes are going to happen at some point in this general area. Oh, you think you're so cute? Yes, you're very cute as long as you're not getting in the way. Over here in the corner of the garden, it's worth checking on my lone Brussels sprout and its dwarf twin. Well, not twin. They're not the same genetics, but I did plant them at the same time, and this one just stayed small and this one got big. You can see the leaves look a little sad, and that's not entirely unusual. Let's see, we do have Brussels sprouts in there. They are all kind of loose. Let me go ahead and pull one so you can see better what I mean by loose. So this is the Brussels sprout. And it kind of looks like another little plant instead of like a tight-headed cabbage thing, which is what Brussels sprouts you would think are supposed to look like. And the reason for this could be many things, but I'm suspecting it is the warm weather that we had after this plant got put in the ground. And here in South Carolina, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. I'm not really sure. So this is what I've got to work with. This is still perfectly edible. If you didn't know, all of these leaves also perfectly edible off of Brussels sprouts. So I could probably have some of these for dinner. They're probably not going to get much bigger, and definitely the centers are not going to stay tight. Over down this way, more onions. Down the middle, you can see more of my sprouted onions that are just much larger than everything else. And then hiding in between the straw, that's hard to see with the camera, are these onion starts. Now they've been small for quite a while, but I can safely say once the weather starts warming up, they will pop off. They will get bigger. Oh, look at these two little spider friends. You can see one here and one here. Oh, it's good to see spiders in the garden, little predators taking care of pests. Something I find really interesting is I had planted irises along this hill next to the swale, which I should probably clean out after the winter. But with the freeze that came, I really thought that these things had come early because it was kind of warm, and I really thought the freeze was going to kill them entirely back. Even though it killed back a lot of my brassicas, but it did not kill back all the tops of the irises. So these are still all along the row, sprouting up, making new leaves. So I will have some spring irises. I was just walking by here, this spot where the giant mint plant was, and I tore it out because it died back. I thought I got it all, but with mint you can never be sure. And right here you can see this little piece of stem got left. It was all by itself, but you see it rooted down and started putting up new leaves. This is why it's so hard to get rid of mint. You got to find all of these and pull them out. Here's another one. The good news is I have the patience to pull all of these out and make sure that they don't proliferate. So I will get rid of this mint and put it in a pot where it belongs. If we come over here to look at the raised bed, the oregano looks like it has died back pretty much all the way except for this one baby little bit right here. And the fact that that's still alive to me means that most of this that died back can probably cut it back once I start seeing new growth at the base. In the meantime, it's a great habitat for beneficial insects. But we've got also a little bit of cilantro, looking a little rough, but now that it's warm, you can see all this new little growth starting to come up here. Sage also looking kind of unhappy, but still trying to make new leaves. So that is always a good sign, and this stuff near the center looks much better. As we have been seeing, thyme over here just living its best life in the cold. And the Mexican tarragon died back, but I think that will come back from the root base, the same as the stevia, which should come back from its root base as well. And just a quick glance over the berry patch. Everything looks pretty much the same, pretty normal. Something to point out is this blueberry bush that still looks good has continued to look good, and it has all these little buds ready to go for the spring, which is really encouraging. This one over here also has a couple of buds. It looks so sad though. I'm thinking about putting another one in here, just kind of supplement, because that one looks stunted. Like, I'm just not really sure it's ever gonna flourish. So I am gonna get another one to go in there, and possibly one to replace this. I still haven't really figured it out, because this one also has a couple of dead looking stems and then just like 2 or 3 little buds on it. In the corner here, my strawberries look great. If you are on a budget with strawberries, this here in the center, this is what I started with in the spring of last year. And this one plant that I bought spread out into all of this within a year. And I am assuming that it can make it all the way to the ends here and here within a second year. We'll see how far it goes. But I invested the time and not the money to take one strawberry plant and let it kind of take over this space, as opposed to filling in strawberry plants the whole way. It's definitely one of those trade-offs you have to think about. Do I want to take the time, or do I want to spend the money? And in my current position, I almost always choose to take the time because I don't really have the money. So that is all there really is to look at today. Pretty short tour. But before I leave you guys, I'm going to just set you up, let you watch me pick all the rest of these Brussels sprouts, and then I'm gonna go cook them up. My favorite way to eat them is just to, if there was a solid head, I would chop them in half, coat them in oil and put them in a pan in the oven, 400 degrees for 20 minutes. Makes them absolutely perfect and crispy. A little bit of salt, and then the secret ingredient is a squeeze of lemon juice over the top. It just makes it feel absolutely gourmet.